All right, let's talk about artificial intelligence. It feels like this thing went from sci-fi movies to our social media feeds almost overnight. It's suddenly everywhere. But what is it really? And why is everyone talking about it right now? That's what we're going to figure out.
Okay, so first things first, we have to tackle the most obvious question. Why the sudden explosion? What happened?
I mean, this is the question, right? It really does feel like one day AI was this niche thing for computer scientists, and the next day, your grandpa was asking about it at dinner. This wasn't a slow build, it was an explosion. And it all kicked off with one, frankly, unbelievable number 100 million. That is how many people signed up for the AI chatbot ChatGPT after it launched in late 2022. Now, that number is huge on its own, but the part that really broke everyone's brain wasn't the what, it was the how fast. Yeah, in just 2 months, it became the fastest growing consumer product in history. Period. Think about that. Faster than the iPhone, faster than TikTok, faster than anything. This was the moment AI tipped over from the lab into the mainstream, and it kicked off this global tidal wave of interest that we're all riding today. And you can literally see that tidal wave right here. I mean, look at these charts. On the left, you've got news articles about generative AI just going vertical. On the right, social media posts doing the exact same thing. This wasn't just a new app, it was a cultural earthquake. But it all leaves us wondering, what is this stuff anyway? To really get it, we need to decode what a lot of people call the black box. We're going to pry open the lid and actually take a look at what's going on inside. Okay, so on the simplest possible level, here's the deal. You can think of an AI as a box. You put something in, that's the input. It could be a question, a photo, a command, and then something new comes out, the output. An answer, a new image, a piece of code. The magic, the mystery is all about how it gets from A to B inside that box. Now, if you want the textbook definition, the one the academics who built this field use, it's something like this: the study of the design of intelligent agents. And an agent is just a fancy word for something that can sense its environment and then make decisions. So really, AI is all about building things that can perceive, reason, and act intelligently. This diagram here breaks it down perfectly. Think of AI as the giant umbrella term. It's the whole field. Inside that, you have machine learning, which is where systems learn patterns by looking at tons and tons of data. And then even deeper inside, you have deep learning. That's a type of machine learning that uses these complex webs called neural networks, which are kind of inspired by how our brains are wired to solve really tough problems. Almost all the AI you hear about today, it's happening in those two inner circles.
Okay, so we know what it is, but that still doesn't quite answer our first big question: why now? Why did this all happen in the last couple of years? Well, the answer comes down to two secret ingredients that suddenly became available in absolutely massive quantities.
The first ingredient, and you can argue it's the most important one, is data. If AI is a high-performance engine, then data is the rocket fuel. These systems learn by example, you see. So the more data you can pour in, the smarter and more powerful they get. And the amount of fuel we're creating now is, well, it's just staggering. It's estimated that by 2025, humanity will be creating 175 zettabytes of data every single year. I mean, what even is a zettabyte? It's a trillion gigabytes. It's a number so big, our brains can't really even process it. So let's try to make it make sense. 175 zettabytes is enough data to fill up 21 brand new, top-of-the-line laptops for every single man, woman, and child on the planet. And that's not total. That's every single year. That is the fuel that's been poured on the AI fire. But of course, all the rocket fuel in the world is useless if you don't have an engine that can burn it. So the second secret ingredient is a revolution in raw computing power, what we call compute. And it came from a place nobody expected. This is the breakthrough. On the left, you have a regular computer chip, a CPU. It's a workhorse, but it does things one by one in a nice, orderly line. But on the right, that's a GPU, a graphics processing unit. And these things were originally built for video games, so you could have amazing graphics. To do that, they have to do thousands of little calculations all at the same time, in parallel. And here's the wild part. It turns out that doing thousands of things at once is the perfect way to train a giant AI model. So the gaming industry, completely by accident, built the engine that would end up powering the entire AI revolution. Crazy, right? So we've got the fuel, data, and we've got the engine, compute.
So what kind of things are we building? Let's take a quick tour of the different animals you'll find out there in the AI zoo. It helps to break them down into a few main types.
So one way to split them up is by what they do. You've got predictive AI, which looks at past data to guess what's going to happen next. Your weather app, that's predictive AI. Then you have generative AI. This is the stuff like ChatGPT. It doesn't just predict, it creates totally new stuff. An email, a picture, a song, you name it. The other big way to categorize them is by how smart they are. And just to be crystal clear, everything we have today is what we call artificial narrow intelligence, or ANI. These are systems that are geniuses at one specific task, playing chess, finding tumors in a medical scan. They might be superhuman at that one thing, but they can't do anything else. The dream, the long-term goal of the whole field is artificial general intelligence, or AGI. That's the idea of a single AI that could learn or do pretty much any mental task a human can. We are definitely not there yet. That's still science fiction.
Okay, so we've got the basics down, but now we have to look ahead because the most important thing to understand about the future of AI is that it's not going to show up for everyone at the same time or in the same way. This is a really powerful reminder of that. Each of those boxes shows a country's population that is still offline. All those people are on the wrong side of what we call the digital divide. And now, as AI gets built into everything we do online, there's a real danger that this gap becomes a much, much deeper AI divide, leaving billions of people even further behind. The science fiction writer William Gibson said it perfectly decades ago. The future is already here, it's just not evenly distributed. That quote has never been more true than it is right now. This amazing future that AI promises is definitely arriving, but making sure it's shared fairly, that's a huge challenge. And finally, there's the challenge of trust. Remember our black box from the beginning? Well, one of the biggest goals in AI research right now is to turn that black box into a glass box. It's a field called explainable AI, and the whole point is to make an AI's decisions understandable. So if an AI tells a doctor it sees cancer on a scan, the doctor and the patient can actually ask it why and get a real answer. That's how we build the trust we need to really use this technology well. So that's where we are. We've got the fuel, unimaginable amounts of data. We've got the engine, super powerful compute. We have the building blocks of something that's going to change our world. The question isn't if it will happen anymore. The question is how we choose to guide it. So now that we have all this, how are we going to make sure this powerful, world-changing technology actually benefits everyone?